Brandon Moreno versus Alexandre Pantoja. How is nobody talking about this fight? Because this is full circle for Brandon Moreno, and he has the boogeyman that he needs to defeat for the first time. The man that he has lost to twice already. One within the exhibition in the Ultimate Fighter House and one in the UFC. He needs to avenge his losses, and I'm sure he's going to come in there motivated to do just that. But if you don't know, Alexandre Pantoja attempting to take the belt from Brandon Moreno at UFC 290, nobody's talking about this. I don't know how this is like a big story that people can really get behind, because Pantoja, the challenger, has beaten Brandon Moreno twice. One of them was within the exhibition rules, but he's the only man to actually finish Brandon Moreno too. He submitted him in the Ultimate Fighter House in the second round back in 2016. And if you remember correctly, Brandon Moreno was the last seed for the Ultimate Fighter of that season. Pantoja was the number one seed, and Brandon Moreno was friends and training partners with Henry Cejudo, and Cejudo had drafted Pantoja. And if you're keen to what the rules are in that season, the seeds would, so the 16 seed would fight the number one seed. If you drafted the 16 seed, then the other team would get the one seed. If you draft the one seed, then the other team would get the 16 seed. In this case, Cejudo drafts number one seed Pantoja, and the other team gets Brandon Moreno. So Brandon Moreno loses his friendship, or his teammateship, I guess, with Cejudo, because he chose Pantoja. He could have chose his guy, Brandon Moreno, even though he was the last seed. They didn't know that. They didn't know that Moreno was the last seed. They took Pantoja because he was the number one, hoping Brandon Moreno wouldn't be the 16th seed, but he was. And ever since that day, it was that's kind of the end of Moreno and Cejudo's friendship and teammateship. So ultimately, it didn't end well for Brandon Moreno, because he goes up against Pantoja. Pantoja submits him in the second round in the Ultimate Fighter House. And years later, down the road, 2018, so 2 years later, Moreno finds himself fighting Pantoja in the UFC, and Brandon Moreno loses by decision to Pantoja. And now, 5 years later, they are facing off again for the third time. One in the exhibition, one in a real professional bout. And now the third time is for the championship. So you kind of get all levels there. You get exhibition bout, just a regular professional bout in the UFC, and then you get a championship bout. And Pantoja is 2-0. And Moreno is the current champion. And Pantoja is looking to become a champion for the first time. So something's got to give here. I'm sure Moreno's going to be super motivated to get the win here, because he's lost to this guy twice. And Pantoja, obviously super motivated to get his title shot here. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how it works out. I don't think there's any, you can't really have bad blood with Brandon Moreno, because Moreno is such a nice dude. But Pantoja is a nasty fighter. He's got great submissions, very dangerous on the feet as well. Moreno, obviously been in the championship fights for the past, four fights of his, 4 or 5 fights. So a lot of experience there now. He's kind of that dude at 125. Pantoja could take it over. That'd be, I don't know if that'd be good or bad for the UFC, because Pantoja's not exactly, doesn't have that draw that Moreno does, considering Moreno's the first Mexican champ. He's got a lot of the Mexican fans behind him. Pantoja coming in here at plus 144, so he is the underdog against Moreno, even though he's beaten him twice. I guess they're putting a lot of stock in what has happened in recent past. In a lot of cases, if you've beaten a guy twice, you're probably going to be the favorite against him, but he is the challenger. This is just a story that I think more people need to be talking about, because this is big. This is big. I mean, it's UFC 290, International Fight Week, biggest card, or supposed to be the biggest card of the year. And Pantoja challenging for the belt, beating this guy twice. He is still coming in as the underdog. I'm interested to see how it works out. I do think Moreno should be the favorite, but in this one, I mean, Pantoja's got his number. He's had his number. I know that might not be the Moreno that is there today, but there is still that thing. Like, Pantoja's got his number, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there in attendance, and I'm excited for it. So drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Drop a subscription if you want to support the channel. Thank you for all the support. Hey Jive Picks here, signing out.